Hello students, how are you? So in the previous video of respiration in organism, we discussed about what do we breathe out. It was one of the important topics. So I hope it is clear to you that when inhaled, the air is inhaled, it contains 21% oxygen, exhaled air contains 16% oxygen, carbon dioxide in the inhaled air is 0.03%, when compared to exhaled air it is 4% there. Water vapor in the inhaled air are less, whereas in exhaled air they are more. Then we discussed about many other organisms, that how do the breathing takes place. I told you many have just like cavities, or you can say the lungs, as the human beings do. Okay, for example crocodile, etc. Then we discussed about the breathing in cockroaches. Two names very important: spiracles and the trachea. What are the spiracles? They are the small openings present on the sides of the bodies. Also they have air tube like that are trachea, that allow the exchange of gases in these insects. How do the air enters? The air enters the body through spiracles and diffuses in the cells via trachea, and the air from cells enters the trachea and move out of the body through spiracles. Okay. Then the next one that we discussed was about earthworm. In earthworm, I told you that they have a soft, sliming and moist skin, so the gas, it can easily pass in and out of the earthworm through its skin. Similarly, frogs also have slippery and moist skin that can help in breathing. I told you that on the land the frogs breathe with the help of lungs, but when they are in water, because they are amphibians, they breathe with the help of that moist skin. Okay. Next one was breathing underwater. I told you that the animals that live underwater have special respiratory organs called gills, comb-like structures that allow the exchange of gases between animals and the water easily. Okay. Some animals called amphibians can breathe on land by lungs and through moist skin underwater. This was the diagram that we last discussed. Okay. So in the today's video, students, I told you that we will start respiration in plants. Okay. Now this diagram depicts that the exchange of gases in the plants. Two places. First is the leaves, where the exchange of gases takes place. Oxygen is being taken and the carbon dioxide is being released, and the oxygen is being taken by the roots and the carbon dioxide is being released by the roots. Okay. But yeah, definitely the carbon dioxide is also being taken and the oxygen is released when we talk about photosynthesis. Okay. But it does not mean that plants do not take oxygen. Now we know that plants also respire. They take in the carbon dioxide present in the atmosphere and use it in the process of photosynthesis to produce food. As a result of photosynthesis in plants, they release out the oxygen in environment. Okay. So we know they respire, and what they do, they use the carbon dioxide. So it does not mean that they do not need oxygen. They need also oxygen, they also need. Okay. So they take in the carbon dioxide and use it in the process of photosynthesis to produce food. As a result of photosynthesis in plants, there is a release out oxygen in the environment. All the parts of the plants can independently respire, that is, they can take in the carbon dioxide and release oxygen on their own. Okay. The leaves of the plants have stomata present upon them, which are small pores like structures that allow the gases or the exchange of gases in the leaves. Fourth one, the woody stems of the plants also respire. This is because of the presence of special tissues called lenticels. The cells of this tissue have large intercellular spaces. They exist as dead cells on the woody plants and the roots and allow the exchange of gases. The bark of trees, although, is impermeable to gases, hence these tissues serve as an important purpose of respiration in the stems. As the name suggests, lenticels have a lens-like shape. Okay, so very important part of the plant. How do the woody stem respire? Okay, the question may be asked to you that how the woody stems of the plant respire. So they respire with the help of these lenticels. Okay, now what is the characteristic of lenticels? We discussed that the cells of this tissue have large intercellular spaces. What is intercellular spaces? That the space between two cells. Okay, not the space of inside cell. The intercellular spaces is the space between two cells. So there are large spaces between the cells of this tissue. Second and important thing, that they exist as dead cells on the woody plants and roots and allow the exchange of gases. Okay. The bark of trees, although is impermeable to gases, hence these tissues serve an important purpose of respiration in the stems. We all know, because bark is very hard structure, so it is impermeable to gases. So these tissues serve an important purpose of respiration in the stems. And as the name suggests, they have a lens-like shape. Clear, students? Fifth one, the roots of the plants have hair-like structure on them, hence they can absorb the air present in the soil. See, very fine particle, very fine hairs are present, and that are called root hairs. Okay, so those are present on the roots, and that help in the absorption of air present in the soil, because you know that roots will be needing also that gases exchange for various purposes. So how do they exchange? Because they cannot come out. Some roots come out, that we study in mangroves, but most of the roots are present inside the soil, so they can absorb that air present in the soil. Okay, so the roots of the plants have hair-like structure on them, and that are called root hairs, very fine hairs. Okay, or you can say the further division of the roots. It is the further division of the roots. Now, this one shows that carbon dioxide enters while water and oxygen exit through a leaf's stomata when the process of photosynthesis takes place. Okay, so when the process of photosynthesis takes place, you can see the leaf, it is the enlarged view. Okay, you can see that this is a leaf, and by magnifying a particular small part, it has been magnified, and you can see a small opening is there. That opening is called stomata. Now you can see with the help of the red arrow, the carbon dioxide is entering in the leaf, and that carbon dioxide will participate in which process? Yes, it will participate in the photosynthesis process. And as the photosynthesis process, what are the products of the photosynthesis? You all know, the glucose, water, and the oxygen. Okay, so these are the product, and as soon as these are formed, they are released. So water and oxygen comes out of the stomata. Water, again important, it comes out in the form of water vapors, or you can say this process is also called transpiration. Okay, and oxygen is also mixed in the environment with the help of stomata. So very important diagram, that carbon dioxide comes inside, it participate in the photosynthesis process, because you know that green color leaf, because of the chloroplast or the chlorophyll, so it carry out the photosynthesis in the leaf with the help of carbon dioxide. These are the some important needs of the photosynthesis. And once the photosynthesis is over, the products like water, see, glucose will be stored in the leaf or in the other parts of the plant, but the remaining product like water and oxygen, they are released out of the plant. Okay, so what does this diagram show? This diagram shows respiration in leaves through stomata. Let's move on to the next topic. It is why plants can die if over watered. Over watered means excess water is given to them. So let's discuss. We know that the roots gets oxygen from the soil. We just discussed that because of the soil, if you remember when we were discussing the chapter soil, I told you that different types of soils. In that I told you that some kind of soils have large spaces between them, whereas some have very minute. So the soil having large spaces are well aerated. So well aerated means they have got air between them. Minute, if our space is present, then also it is aerated but less aerated. So the roots get the air from that part where it is aerated. Okay, or you can say the air is present. So we know that roots get oxygen from the soil. We also understand that the air in the soil is present between the soil particles. Okay, this is the same point that we are discussing in the different types of soil, that there are different kinds of soil on the basis of size of particles and the space between them. Okay, so we understand that the air in the soil is present between the soil particles. Along with the air, soil also contains some water or moisture, definitely, because if you water, then the water will be present, and that leads to the moisture of the soil. If we overwater the plants, the spaces between the soil particles get clogged. Very important point. See what happened, if little amount of water is there, then it's okay, but if the amount of water is exceeded, okay, or it is overwatered, then what happens, that water occupies the spaces between the cell, and if the water will occupy the spaces between the cell, then where the air will go, definitely it will not have space to be, so the air goes from there. So once if the water is there, or water has been exceeded or overwatered, what happens, the air from that between the spaces escapes, okay, and the that place is taken by the water. So as a result, the roots will not be able to get enough air, and the plants can die, definitely, because roots are the one of the most important part of the plant. They help in that minerals and water uptake and different types of uptakes from the soils, and if they will not uptake these things, then the plant cannot live, okay. So this is the main reason that plants can die if overwatered in the soil. You can see this diagram, that it shows roots can absorb air from the soil. Now you can see that soil particles are there, and there are a lot of spaces between them, and in the side you can see the root here is penetrating within the soil. Then you can see that spaces, that soil particles, the spaces, that is called the air space, okay. Now if you over water it, or you can say the amount of water exceeded, then what will happen, the water will take these air spaces, and once the water reaches these air spaces, the air from these spaces get started to escapes, and once the air is not present there, the roots will definitely not get oxygen, and once they not get oxygen, they can die, or we can say if they do not get air, then they can die, okay. So this is the phenomena, that if overwatered, or how it is overwatered, how the plants die, because of the lack of the air. Okay students, so this one was the last topic in this chapter, respiration in, and I hope it is clear to all of you, okay. In the next video students, we will be discussing the exercise question of this chapter, okay, and till then you can complete the chapter, you can complete the notes, okay, whatever has been told to you, okay. And again, important thing, stay inside our house, keep studying, and take care of yourselves, okay. Thank you and have a nice day.